Hey, everybody, welcome to Game Mess Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from giantbomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about a huge unannounced PlayStation 5 game that might finally be leaking, and Nintendo's unhinged pricing gets a lot of feedback. It's going to be a good one because we have Rachel Kaser on the show. Rachel, how are you doing?
Hello, Jeff. Jeff, you knew what I was going to talk about today. You knew it
Yes.
because I sent you
Well,
like a bunch of like all caps messages in the middle of the Nintendo Direct.
now here's the thing. I figured we could just start talking about it right here. I know it's in your heart. Why you know what? You have the floor.
So you might have heard like every time I'm on this show, even if I don't even have to have my face on the screen. If I'm just in the chat, I'm
Chat.
talking about Fire Emblem,
But
and
okay,
they
that or let's
announced
be clear, that or Bayonetta, one or the
fair,
other.
fair, but I didn't get a new Bayonetta, but I did get a new Fire Emblem game.
It looks good.
And you better believe I was, like, rewinding and, going over the trailer, like, inch by inch, like, "Oh, what is this? Is this gonna be in the same universe as Three Houses? Is this tying together multiple universes?
Well,
What is this?"
okay. So wait, you pay attention to that stuff. You're talking to a man who does not. That's
Mhm.
not to say I'm not interested. Like I'm always curious when I'm not playing the game. When I'm playing the game, I'm like, get me to the tactics. But later I'll be thinking
Fair,
about it.
fair.
I'm like, there's some interesting characters in there, and they have like relationships and whatever. But the dragon lady that was in
Yeah.
your head at Three Houses, she was in this trailer. They kind of like teased that at the end. What do you think that means? Like, what is that saying to you?
Well, it's the same voice actress, so
Okay,
that could be a misdirect there. They don't actually say it's the same character. I mean, she has a
right.
very similar
But it does look
sh
different,
yeah,
but not like so
she
different it couldn't be the same person.
it could be the same person, so it could either be a prequel because, she wasn't always a child. The small Sothis, her name is the character's
Right.
name, the person who is in your head in Three Houses, she wasn't always a child,
Shit, yeah, she has
and
Benjamin
so
Button disease. She goes back and
basically
forth. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, that'll happen when you're an immortal, sometimes you're in a kid,
Uh-huh.
it's the, what's that it's reminding me of that fairy tale where the fairy queen gets shrunk down and stuck in a flower.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
I'm digging into my European folklore here for this one. But, yeah, so it's possible it could be a prequel as well, but there's a big arena at the opening of the trailer, and that is a setting that looks a lot like one in Awakening. So, like, the Reddit threads are afire on r/Fire Emblem are just absolutely going nuts over the
Well,
weekend.
okay, well then let me ask, when did you originally get into Fire Emblem? Was it with Awakening? Did you kind of jump aboard with
Yeah.
like when everyone else? Because that's when I like finally really played that series. So rank the ones you've played like since then. Like what's your favorite? What's your least favorite? And then we'll get
Uh
on with the show.
My favorite is Awakening. My second favorite is Three Houses. My third favorite is what's the one?
The most recent one?
Engage, actually.
Engage. Okay, yes.
Yes, I do like Engage, and I would say actually I would say no. The third one is actually Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. I like
Right.
Sacred Stones. Fourth is Fire Emblem Blazing Sword. Fifth is Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon. Sixth is Fire Emblem. That is Fire Emblem Engage, actually. So
Okay.
because there's a lot of Fire Emblem games, I'm having to go back in my register a little bit
Uh-huh.
and like knock them down. Honestly, my least favorite is probably Fates, which sucks because I
Yeah,
did really like Fates for a while, and
I
it
like the
walked
characters of Fates a ton.
yeah, it walked so that Three Houses could run,
Yeah, good
but at the
point.
same time, like, oh, I really didn't like the way the world like, the fact that they didn't even have a name for the continent in Fates. Like, every other game in the series
You
has,
need
like,
your
"Oh,
proper
this"
nouns. Yep.
yeah, "This one took place in Fodlan, this one took place in Arcanea," and, it's a big motif in the series, the overarching world that all of these little squabbles are taking place within, and they didn't have that in Fates. It felt kind of like they didn't really commit to the bit.
Yep. I'm excited about this one. This one looks really like they are. I don't know. It looks to me like they're stepping it up. Like they're really going to go for it. They're going to take advantage of this thing coming out on the Switch too. I'm a big fan of Fire Emblem, so we'll see what this game's able to deliver.
There's a lady with a gun in the trailer too. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't. I heard someone mention that. I guess I didn't like go back to look. What kind of gun?
It looks like it's a pistol. It's a small
All
sidearm.
right.
I mean, it moves a little too fast for me to be able to tell make and model, but it's enough to fit in one hand. And she's
Right.
fighting somebody with a sword for reasons I'm not quite clear on, but I saw that, I'm like, "Ooh, where's that gonna fit in the weapon triangle?"
Right, exactly. How are they gonna like? I can imagine a character just focused around the gun. That okay? Yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I thought that was a good way to end that direct. We should get on with the show, so let's
Yeah,
explain ourselves and what we do here. This is Giant Bomb. We're a small team of independent video game doofuses who rely on your support to make cool stuff. We're out there doing the independent games media thing, and we can only really make that happen with you all behind us. You have shown up, and we are so thankful to everyone who has. If you want to join and help us out even more, you can go to giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member, get the ad-free versions of the shows, get extra goodies. We've done a couple of the bonus voicemails now for Voicemail Dump Truck. It's been a lot of fun, and you should all become a part of it. Giantbomb.com/join. As far as this show goes, most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Sorry, little Macho Man Randy Savage to get us started this morning. All right, let's get on
I dig
with it
it.
right here. Yes, exactly. Marvel's Venom reportedly still in active development. Wolverine targeting 2026 launch. This is from Alex Hopley at Game Reactor. Insomniac's next game might be joining the mega slate of 2026 releases, as a recent report points to Marvel's Wolverine still targeting next year for its launch. Also, the same report tells us that Marvel's Venom game is still in active development. The potential details of its protagonists also revealed. This report comes from MP First, which has spoken to a verified source about Marvel's Wolverine still being on track for 2026. We've not seen anything official for the game in years, but speculation points to it appearing at an upcoming PlayStation State of Play event. In regards to Venom, the game is reportedly still in active development and hasn't gone the way of the Spider-Verse game Insomniac has been cooking up. Currently, it's suspected the game is in pre-production as Wolverine remains the priority. Speaking to other sources, MP First couldn't verify. Apparently, the game's protagonist could be Eddie Brock with a look much closer to his comic representation. Cletus Cassidy would return as Carnage too, with a more monstrous anti-Venom also appearing in the game. All right, so a couple of things in the story.
Mhm.
Marvel's Wolverine still in 2026. We could start there.
Mhm.
This sounds right to me when I ask about it. I definitely hear like it's phrased to me in such a way where it's like, yeah, they intend to get that game out in 2026, and I think they want to.
Mhm.
And if they are ready to like commit to that, I could see them bringing a trailer, something to this next state of play that probably will happen before the end of the month, and say, yeah, this is out next year. But they have a couple other games like they want to get out first for sure. That's the God of War spinoff. There's a couple other things, but that would be their big game for next year. And Sony, at the very least, does seem like they want to have one big first party game a year at least, maybe two, and then some other ones that are like just slightly below that tier. But like your Ghost of Yotei, your
Yeah.
Astrobot, and now this year, or next year, I should say, would be Marvel's Wolverine. Does that sound right to you? It's been quite some time since we first heard about this game. It feels like we're getting close to it being due.
Well, we got Silk Song. What other white whales do we have to
Yes,
chase
good
now?
point. Yeah.
Which ones are still out there that we haven't
Yep.
heard from in a while?
Yep.
And
Exactly.
yeah, I mean that sounds about right because we haven't. I'm trying to think if I've heard of any major PlayStation 5 titles, like specifically PlayStation 5 titles in 2026. And yeah, there's definitely a very big Insomniac sized hole in the
Mm-hmm.
calendar. So and maybe I'm being a little cynical here, but for when it's coming out, I'm trying to think like, ooh, what's a good quarter in the year where they don't have something else holding down the releases.
Yep.
So I'm gonna guess probably not Q1 or Q2 because of a certain
No.
juggernaut that we all know about. They don't want.
Yep.
I don't think even Insomniac wants to compete with that.
Right. Again, definitely the Marvel universe from Insomniac seems like it could stand up against a lot. Probably not GTA. You're right. They will that's why, yeah, we'll probably get a 2026 window if they say anything, and then they'll decide later how to position things once they really know when GTA 6 is coming out. Because I think everyone's sort of still skeptical about that release date that they have right now, which is May 26th. I want to
Yeah,
say, I think they're still skeptical of that. So we'll see. But if
understandable. Yeah.
oh yeah, for sure. So if that does hit on the 26th of May, then I expect Wolverine to release in the fall. But we'll
Yeah.
see.
My first thought is probably just like Ghost of Yote. If they want to make sure there's not a steep drop off in that quarter, they're probably going to go with Wolverine in that, like a corresponding October, maybe September release.
Then there is the other game from Insomniac. Let's see here. It's sorry, I hit my standing desk and it almost knocked my camera over there. That would have been fun. Yeah, the other game from Insomniac.
Like make me seasick, Jeff.
Marvel's Venom. Marvel's Venom is that this would be a spin-off of the Spider-Man games. You got to play as Venom in Spider-Man 2. It always seemed like, well, clearly this will just be the next sort of expand-alone game, similar to what happened with Miles Morales. They'll do this with Venom. They are taking their time to the point where it's like it might be even bigger than that, although Miles Morales was already a big enough game for sure.
Yeah.
But this was one that like was rumored for a long time, definitely seemed obvious. And then there was those Insomniac leaks where it
Right.
was in there. It was like that was going to be the next game actually before Wolverine even. And then when it became clear that that wasn't happening, I think there was a lot of guessing that this game might be canceled, done, on the shelf. They're not doing anything with it really anymore. They've already done that with a couple other Spider-Man projects. They have the X-Men games that they're making years from now, apparently, that they got to
Right.
get to work on. So really, is this game happening? And it sounds like maybe, yeah, it is still happening. And I think that makes sense because they've already done a lot of the work to get a character like that moving and working. And that's probably half the battle of making a fun game. Now you have to like make all the content. And sure, that's a lot of work, but you have something good. So when do you think we see this Venom game if it's in pre-production still?
Hmm. The funny thing is, when at the top of the show you said something about a new PS5 game, I will be honest, my first thought, if it's not a 2026 release, is are we looking at a PS6 game maybe?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean,
That's
so anything after 2026 is definitely a possibility for a new PlayStation console. Now they
yeah.
probably draw out this generation a little bit longer. So, but yeah, you're right. This game
They
comes
haven't.
out in 2028. Yeah,
I'm still annoyed that they're still releasing so many games on the PS4 and the Xbox One. Like, did we
yep.
ever transition fully into this generation?
I mean, we
I I,
transitioned
I
into
don't
what
feel
generations are
strongly.
now. Yeah,
I don't feel strongly about it at all. But not to
yeah.
bring the mood down, but do you think maybe they stalled because we lost Tony Todd?
I mean, it's possible, but I mean, I think that the delay seemed to be happening before that, before Tony
Okay.
Todd passed away. So, but
I mean, not
uh,
that they can't find anyone else as to be the
sure.
voice of Venom, but I thought that was like kind of the big hook is that we have this really creepy, scary voice for to play Venom alongside Peter Parker, but
Mhm.
alongside a potential Eddie Brock.
Yep. I think that it's probably something where like, yeah, they'll have to go ahead and cast someone new. But I don't think that would delay the development at all. I think that was more just about them reorganizing their priorities and realizing, hey, we got to like make some X-Men games. Like we have multiple X-Men games in the pipeline, and these are like we're talking about 2030 now and beyond. But they
Yeah,
probably are like, we don't want to like dilly dawdle and take our time too much. So let's go ahead and be more focused and really just try to get these games out and not
that would be
overwhelm
yeah,
ourselves. Yeah.
that'd be understandable. And I'll be honest, Jeff, I felt kind of like Venom got like underserved in Spider-Man 2. Like all of the
Sure.
fights with Venom were in like interior settings, even like venomized other characters. Like everything was like in these like small arenas. Like where was the Sandman battle at the beginning where you fight him across the entirety of New York City? Like why couldn't we do that with Venom? So I guess I would really look forward to a hypothetical Venom game where we got to rampage across New York. I mean, even when you played as Venom in that game, it didn't feel like you were playing as like you weren't like this force of nature rampaging across
Right.
the city. You were just mostly wrecking one office building.
Yeah. And I think that's why it always felt like a demo, a
Mhm.
prototype for the game because it felt
Yeah.
like just kind of stuffed in there in a way that wasn't supernatural, wasn't natural feeling.
Yeah.
So, but hey, they're gonna find a way to like, deliver on that. Apparently, I guess as their next game after Wolverine. Uh, I guess how are you feeling about? Let's talk about Sony first party output overall. How are you feeling about it? Like Insomniac definitely had been carrying the torch there for a while there,
They have.
delivering a lot of these games. Uh, Even they are taking a little bit longer now. Uh, are you happy with this? And then happy with Insomniac continuing to work on Marvel variations for the next 10ish years?
I I would love to see them try I would love to see them have the breathing room to try something out, but I
Hmm.
kind of understand in the way things are right now, I understand if the best scenario I as much as I would love to see variety, I would love more for everyone at Insomniac and Sucker Punch and, Bungie and every other Sony studio. I would love more for them to have jobs in the next 10 years.
Yep.
So I think for Insomniac specifically, doing Marvel games, that's more of a guarantee. Like, there's no guarantee in
Right.
the industry. I think Star Wars Outlaws proved that.
Hmm.
But but I think that's a much safer bet than say, here's a totally new IP, Insomniac, make it and show us what you can do. I hate it. I hate that that's not really an option. That doesn't really feel like an option for them right now. But hey, Insomniac, make a Wolverine game. That there's no reason we can't find joy in that too.
Yep. I think we get to this state of play. We get a good look at Wolverine, and then speculation can begin more on what the X-Men game's going to look like and what Venom's going to be. And in the meantime, it's like, yeah, I don't think we're going to get a Ratchet and Clank again anytime soon. But
I
I also
doubt
don't
it.
think I don't think they're like done with it. I just think it's like a longer ways off than it might otherwise be if
Yeah.
they didn't
I
have these
mean,
bigger games to work on.
was the last one ended on a cliffhanger, didn't it?
Probably. They usually do. I think so. Yeah. Or at least a tease for something next, I think, is what I remember. It's a
Yeah.
good game. Man, the best games on PlayStation 5, Astrobot and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
I did love Rift Apart.
That's a good 3D platforming console, and they should own it over there at Sony. They should be proud of that. Uh, all right. Borderlands 4 peaks just under 300,000 concurrent players. This is from Jack Valentine at DualShockers. Gearbox Software's latest entry in the Borderlands franchise, Borderlands 4, is by all accounts a return to form. In our review, we said Borderlands 4 is undoubtedly my favorite Borderlands game to date. It is a culmination of everything that the franchise has learned thus far and then some. It's been a wonderful step forward for the franchise after the disappointment that was Borderlands 3. We're not the only ones that feel this way either. Currently, the game has a mighty rating on OpenCritic of 97%, or with 97% of critics recommending the game, with an average score of 85. At first glance, that doesn't seem too impressive compared to its predecessors, which has an average score of 81. There's a catch there. It's only recommended by 78% of critics in that case. Also, there's a huge difference between 81 and 85 on OpenCritic. Um,
Right.
Either way, the game launched and was kind of like shot right up the Steam charts. Even though it does have a lot of issues on PC, it got up to nearly 300,000 concurrent players on Steam, which is a big number. That's a very big number. It's not
Yeah.
as big as Hollow Knight Silk Song. People might remember the 500,000 the other day. That's an anomaly. 300,000 for a big, new, massive game is still very huge. And the game, I'm sure, is doing probably even better on consoles where it's not having any problems. So, or having fewer problems, I guess I should say. I have not played that
Right.
version. Yeah,
Nor have I.
Borderlands 4 seems like it's hitting its marks at the very least, right? It's maybe doing things by the numbers, but it's the right numbers.
I did see somebody, I can't remember who it was, but I saw somebody say that all of these games are getting delayed because of Silk Song. There were no games getting delayed because of Borderlands 4. And I don't know, I feel like Gearbox is very confident that Borderlands 4 can compete with Silk Song. I don't think
Oh,
they think
sure.
their audiences overlap at
No,
all
they don't.
between the two of them. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the Borderlands fans were going to show out no matter what, I think. And I think they also know that performance issues performance issues suck and are not something that we should let go at all, but they can be they can be fixed. And if you really like the content of the game, and I do agree Borderlands 3, I don't think it landed. The joke wasn't funny. So I think if they but the people who love Gearbox's output, they're going to show out no matter what.
Yep, and it's like, there is a wider audience. There's like, there's the Borderlands audience that has shown up, and then there's a wider audience of people who's like, yeah, my friend's playing that, and I want to play that with them. I had a good time doing that, and it sounds like this game is a good fit for those people. In terms of what I played of it, it was very much like delivering on the design ethos of let's give people some fun shooting to do, some fun, light, easy objectives, some quick ways to get there and make that feel fun as well, and then get out of their way so they can talk to their friends while they're playing. And it's like, yeah, that's Borderlands 4.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, don't come on, Jeff. Don't you think that everybody is coming in because they watched that fabulous Borderlands movie?
Well, of
Don't
course.
all the new fans coming in because they saw that movie and just wanted to see the game where it came from?
The Kate Blanchett effect, of course. Yes. Yeah, listen, I watched that movie in theaters. It was physically painful. I recommend it. People should do the same.
Requiescat in pace.
It is, yeah. I think that Borderlands 4 is going to be one of those games that, like, we look back, we're like, oh yeah, that was really huge. A lot of people played that game.
Mhm.
And in the meantime, hopefully they can update it on PC because it was running terribly. It was running like dog doo doo. Now they are paying attention to some feedback over there at Gearbox. Borderlands 4 might be getting FOV sliders on console after a flood of complaints from gamers. This is from Ethan Gotch at Kotaku. Why doesn't Borderlands 4 have an FOV slider on console? Well, this was like originally, like, people were like definitely complaining about this, being like, hey, I'm getting a little motion sick actually. I'd like to be able to control my FOV. A lot of games do have this on console these days. Not always. Traditionally, that's been a PC setting for sure because you're sitting so close to the screen. People want
Mhm.
to adjust that. Well, they did say that they're like, hey, we're promising to like look into this. Vault Hunters, it announced on Twitter, we have heard your feedback on FOV sliders on console. The team is currently exploring how to bring these sliders to both Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5 versions. We will continue to read your feedback and prioritize game updates with your experience in mind. Thanks all. So that's a good thing that they're like a little bit of positive feedback immediately, and they're or like negative feedback, and they're going to respond to that. Like, why haven't they said anything about the PC performance though? Is my thing. It's like FOV slider, great. PC performance is definitely a bigger deal.
Yeah, it is. I
Does it feel
think
like does you get the sense of like that, like the PC performance and like just Unreal Engine like causing problems is something that these developers just don't have a good grasp on, so they're not sure what to say?
I think that's part of it. I mean, I think adding an FOV slider to, I mean, developers, correct me if I'm wrong, that's a smaller fix, I would say, overall, than having to do whatever, having to like patch up the leaking ship that is the PC version. Like, I know I said like a few minutes ago, like, oh, PC things can be fixed. It's going to be a while before they're fixed. And I don't blame anybody for jumping off the ship at this point. But
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
I
go
do.
ahead.
By the way, I do always adjust my field of view sliders because I will get majorly seasick if I don't have the correct field of view. Like if it's too close, if it's too far, I'm out. I get a migraine.
Now, of course, like, why aren't they saying anything about PC performance? Well, that's, the team hasn't said anything. Randy Pitchford has. Over here, this is a quote from PC Games In. Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford has responded on Twitter by offering potential fixes for the first-person shooter game's launch weekend to try and help players out. Consistently across multiple posts, he states that some older rigs simply won't be able to run the game. Here's the quote. Buckle up. Borderlands 4 is a premium game made for premium gamers. Just as Borderlands 4 cannot run on a PlayStation 4, it cannot be expected to run on too old PC hardware. He had some more to say there, though, but that's where he starts.
I
Well,
don't live too far away from Randy
you just go
Pitchford, by the
smack him upside
way.
the head for us. Just like, shut up, Randy. What are you doing?
I will drive up to Gearbox HQ and I will knock on the door and I will go in there and I will slap him across the face with a glove for being quite so wretched to gamers. Like, what, he's being condescending more than a
Yep.
little bit here.
He
He's
said
being
if you
Randy Pitchford.
Yes, he's being randy about it. If you're trying to drive a monster truck with a leaf blower's motor, you're going to be disappointed. I
I
think
didn't
people,
see that one.
yep, I think people are just going to be like, look, my GPU was a higher or like a middle of the road, but higher end, middle of the road, $700 like 3 or 4 years ago. What are you talking about? It should still run just fine on there. Now, all of this is crazy though. Like his position here is crazy. I have a 5080, one of the top of the line GPUs, and the game was running terribly. We had to go to ultra performance on DLSS to get near 60 frames per second. Or at least I went down to performance and it was still like 45 to 50 frames per second. I'm assuming ultra performance gets above 60, but that's you are sacrificing a lot of image quality with ultra performance and DLSS. And this is the thing that people hate, Rachel, is this idea that developers, instead of treating DLSS as a cherry on top to get extra frames for your 165 hertz refresh monitor, instead of treating it like something like that, instead it is a way just to get the 60 frames per second in the first place. And it's like, gamers do not like this as like, DLSS is our optimization instead of optimization plus DLSS.
What's Gearbox for, correct me if I'm wrong, it's $70, right?
This game, no, I think it's 70. I think 70 is right, yeah.
$70 for something that $70 is a lot to ask for something that's only going to run on assuming Randy Pitchford's thesis is correct, which I don't, but if we assume it is, something that will only run on premium rigs. And so like, how much disposable income does Randy Pitchford think we have in this economy? Like, first, like that, and then like, first of all, that's the money issue side of things. But on the other hand, that's not how optimization works at all. It's like, it doesn't matter how, yes, you could have a really powerful rig, but that doesn't necessarily mean the game is going to run well, even on a really powerful rig.
Yeah. And like, I think the optimization is clearly the culprit here because, as chat continues to point out, it's on Xbox Series S, which has a less powerful GPU. And there are a lot of PCs out there with equivalent GPUs to the Xbox Series S that are really struggling with this game. It is a PC performance optimization issue, and Gearbox should just do something about it. I get that it's like you could prioritize the console. That is probably still the bulk of the sales for a game like this. But come on.
I don't think we should take Randy Pitchford's like words as like that's how everybody at Gearbox feels about PC gaming. Like,
sure, yes, yeah, for
like,
sure.
oh dear, you don't have a powerful rig. How dare you? I don't think that's how everybody at Gearbox feels about it. I think Randy's just being Randy.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Hopefully though, he could stop speaking for them. I think that'd be great too.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep moving here. Actually, you know what? Let's take a break. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna go to our ad. We'll come right back with plenty more headlines after this. If you want to skip out on this, you go to giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member, get the ad-free version of the show. We'll be right back.
Coming to you live from Giant Bomb. It's the Character Issues Podcast.
The Character Issues Podcast is a podcast where we are making the definitive scientific list of the greatest video game characters of all time. Every episode, I am joined by hosts Leah Haydu.
It's me. Hi. Hello. Hi. Hello.
And Rich Davison.
Hello from across the pond.
As we discuss, rank, and basically give you the definitive guide of who are the greatest video game characters of all time. We currently have over 70 episodes out, and I know what you're thinking. I don't want to go back and listen to all of those episodes, so here's a few facts to catch you up on any in-joke lore so you can jump in right now.
We have an unhealthy relationship with the character Voldo from Soul Calibur.
Rich really hates the Scandinavians.
The most important spot is the number 69 spot.
Every 23 episodes, we have a re-rank-a-palooza.
The second number one important spot is, again, not the top spot, it's the bottom spot, which is perennially going to be Chadley from Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth.
I'm so funny. Like, seriously, you guys, you don't even know.
So, if after hearing all of those wonderful facts about our podcast, you're still interested, you can go to any of your podcast services and search for the Character Issues Podcast, and it will be there. You can also follow us on Blue Sky at the Character Issues Podcast, or send us an email at characterissuespodcast@gmail.com. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and thank you, Giant Bomb, for allowing us to advertise on your wonderful podcast about video games. We look forward to talking to all of you soon.
Back up on YouTube. Now, sorry.
All right, we're back. Let's get into Game Mess Mornings over here with me, Jeff Grubb, and Rachel Kaser. And another new headline. Leaked Battlefield 6 skin has some players wanting to send EA a message. This is from Blair Marnell at GameSpot. Battlefield 6 has largely been well received during its beta test, but some players have been very adamant that the game should avoid the Fortnite-ification that the Call of Duty franchise has embraced. Battlefield Studios head Vince Zampella has previously said that Battlefield 6 will stay true to Battlefield. However, a leaked Battlefield 6 skin has some players eager to send EA a message that they won't welcome similar outfits in the game. The lime green on black look isn't nearly as cartoonish as the Beavis and Butthead or American Dad skins. It is like a military operator, but one that is like gussied up for sure. Is I guess the best way.
I'm looking at it here. Yeah, it's
right.
It is basically just like tactical gear that looks like it's just been like spray painted a little bit.
Right. Someone did a little customization work or whatever. Well, fans aren't happy with that even. And I'm not too surprised about this. There was a question on the Battlefield subreddit around the time of one of the alphas or the betas, and they were like, hey, like what level of weird skin would you be okay with? And it like went up to like 13 or 14 on this like chart on the spectrum, and that was like cartoon characters on at number 14, and number like 5 was a plainclothes CIA officer or something like that, and then like 1, 2, and 3 were all like mostly military people, but maybe they started to get a little bit like, oh, here's an extra tchotchke on something. And everyone was like, 1, I don't want anything beyond the most standard military looking dude you can possibly imagine. And there was a huge wave of support from that community. Now that doesn't seem feasible. That doesn't seem likely that that's the way they're going to go. So EA and DICE are going to have to walk this line of trying to put these things out there and keep this fan base happy. But also seems like these are the people that would never buy a skin. So like you can't really worry about them too much. You sort of have to be like, no, we got this whole other side of the audience that does care about this. I think what people are settling on from the Battlefield community is, can we have a toggle to turn off seeing other people's skins? And do you think that's something EA and DICE would consider, or is that like, ooh, that defeats the purpose of people spending $20 on one of these things?
I think that kind of defeats the purpose to like, because you this is a first person game. If you buy a skin, you're buying it so that other people can see you.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I would caution anyone against getting too upset over the skin. I mean, it could very well be just like a leftover thing that somebody found. It may not actually ever turn up in the game. But on the other hand, I also understand if Battlefield being more grounded, being a bit less Call of Duty, that's kind of its whole thing. And I think if EA tries to go that route, they might try for like, what's the metaphor of the frog in the boiling water?
They'll
start with the like really grounded, cool military skins, and
good point.
Maybe like a year down the line, they'll be like, by the way, here's a like slightly flashier skin.
Or here's a free one that is a little bit more outlandish for Christmas, and it's like, oh, okay, well, like this, it stinks, but it's free. Maybe some people start using it. You're right. I think that it's exactly the frog in the water slowly being boiled, where they can turn this up like one little step at a time, and if there's too much pushback, they sort of just take a break. They're like, they have some other like very standard military fatigues waiting in the wings. Like, here's some more of that. And then when it dies down, you try again. I don't think they're going to ever get to SpongeBob and Beavis and Butthead and stuff like that. No, I don't
think so. But on the other hand, I think fans should be careful about saying, oh, don't become Fortnite. I don't know about that. I don't know if you want to tell the company that, because Fortnite's really profitable, and that's where the new audience is, Fortnite and Roblox, and those are the people that they really want playing Battlefield. So be careful about telling them to not do the thing that's going to make them money.
Yeah, it's like
I don't think that's going to work out as well as you think it's going to.
I agree, and I think that they have made it clear that they have huge goals for this Battlefield game. They've talked about 100 million players or whatever, and if you're talking about an audience that big, you are talking about an audience big enough to sell skins to, and they will be accommodating of all kinds of different skins. So they've already talked about moving and growing beyond the core Battlefield audience that would typically show up for this game. But at the same time, you want that positive word of mouth, and so I think they do it very slowly. So it's a very slow frog boil. And in the meantime, they'll try to see what they can get away with stuff like this that is mostly inoffensive but slightly outlandish, and then they'll see what the feedback's like. So this sort of a community effort to be like, hey, let EA know that you don't want anything worse than this. That is one option right now. Say, voice your opinion, criticize the company. You're allowed to. They're allowed to try to sell you stuff, and you're allowed to be like, hey, this sucks. And we'll see what EA ends up doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally valid, but I'm just saying, like, don't use words like, "Oh, don't become Fortnite."
Yes.
When it's very that is tricky because the company will be like, "Well, why can't we have Fortnite money?"
Yeah, they definitely want Fortnite money. That's
They would
something
love
investors
Fortnite money.
understand. All right. Nintendo's latest Amiibo figures push the boundaries of size and price. This is from Andy Robinson at VGC. Nintendo's next wave of Amiibo toys will be the company's largest and most expensive figures to date. Announced on Friday, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Kirby Air Riders, and Super Mario Galaxy are each getting their own unique Amiibo releases. Most notable are the Kirby figures, which at $50 each are the most expensive Amiibo to date. Typically, Amiibo figures cost between $20 to $30 in the US, and at launch a decade ago, they were closer to $15. However, the Kirby Amiibo are unique in that they include both a rider figure and a machine to which they can be attached, which with the drivers being interchangeable. This functionality will also carry over to the game. When different combinations are scanned, players can scan their Amiibo to create an in-game rider and air ride machine combo and train it as a figure player, which will gain figure player levels with use. Okay, yeah, cool. All of that feels like working backward from how can we raise the prices of these things. Here, let's add a couple of functions to this thing. Let's make it big so we can justify the $50 price tag because, hey, tariffs are making these things expensive to ship to the United States.
That's fair, yeah.
I get the sense, Rachel, that like a lot of these prices are closer in line with like what people in like places like Canada and Australia see. And as usual, there has been a lot of backlash here because the United States is especially whiny when it comes to price increases. I've said this before. It's why these companies kind of give us a little bit more of kid's glove treatment with our price increases, and everywhere else it like has to bear the burden of like, well, even if you do complain, we're not going to hear you. Canada, get out of here. And so, but it's coming for us now, and it's like, oh, people, there is this backlash. People are mad at Nintendo about its current pricing. We have another story here in a second we'll get to. But I don't know. What do you think when you see a $50 Amiibo? Games used to be $50.
I know, and my first thought is like I really feel like Amiibo has sort of outgrown like the purpose they originally had. Like it was originally something that you used Amiibo, you get like a cute little, like I have some of mine back here, and you'd get something cute in the game, and now it's I'm almost surprised that Amiibo have stuck around as long as they have. So somebody is buying them. Nintendo wouldn't make a big play like this if somebody weren't buying them. And I wonder if it isn't, maybe the intended audience is not the US buyers. Maybe that's why they're so confident in offering this price. Like, well, we know people, the sales in the US are going to go down, maybe because the Japanese audience is going to buy them instead.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's Kirby's a character that they know has a lot of juice with merchandise, so I think they're also confident they can get away with a lot here.
My voice got really loud for a second there. Sorry.
No, that's all good. You know what? Let's stick with this theme here and get to this next story. Nintendo's Switch Mario Galaxy collection will retail for $70. This is from Andy Robinson at VGC. Nintendo's just announced Super Mario Galaxy Switch collection will retail for $70. It has been confirmed. That means the two games collection will cost $10 more than Nintendo's last anniversary collection, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which included 3 titles and was only on sale for a year. For those who already own 3D All-Stars, which includes the first Mario Galaxy game, Nintendo has confirmed that it will sell Galaxy and Galaxy 2 individually for $40 each. Now, at the same time, it does seem like they're doing a bit more. I hesitate to say quite a bit more, but definitely a noticeable amount more for this version of the port, where they're increasing resolution and add in some other quality of life things, and it just overall looks like a better package. Now,
Hmm.
I don't know if it's a $40 better package where it's like, oh my God, this game is
Right.
very old and you are making some improvements, but $40 for it and $70 for both, that price is high. They are also over at Nintendo seeing a backlash to this as well. And yeah, I mean, these prices are astronomical. They are much higher than I would have guessed for these games.
Yeah, you
Um,
can usually count on Nintendo. Nintendo never lowers their prices, but oftentimes they're not necessarily
yeah,
as high as other places to begin with.
they hadn't been right until this generation with the Switch
Mhm.
2, where it's like it seems like at every opportunity they are going to the maximum. They are like, let's push the envelope of what we can get away with in terms of price. You know, they're the first one with an $80 game, really, Mario Kart World,
Mhm.
and the Switch 2 was, you know, it's $500 with that game included, and that was a little bit more. I think some people were at least hoping for. I think the thing here is this game this game will sell at this price. People will show up
Mhm.
to buy this game at this price. So what is Nintendo to do other than release it at that price? Because that's what you're supposed to do. Until Nintendo begins to see a detrimental effect on its top line sales, I don't think I don't think it changes this course for as much as
Yeah.
people might be complaining right now.
Yeah, I mean, got to keep in mind that even Nintendo is not immune to the market effect. I mean, people, sometimes, like to say like, "Oh, Nintendo will put out any Drek and people will buy it in droves." I'm like, I remember the Wii U. So that was something that people didn't turn out to buy in droves because it was a console that really didn't have a purpose in the
Yep.
generation in which it was released. So, by the way, side note, I love how I'm getting so many Kirby and Metroid amiibos. They can't make a Bayonetta 3 amiibo? I need to complete my collection.
They don't have the technology to do that yet. It's too
Yeah,
far
it would
beyond
be
them.
honestly adding a third one to this would just cause a singularity and then we would all die.
Uh huh. I Yeah, I do get this. Like, I did see some Switch 2s on the shelf the other day or yesterday. I was at Meyer,
Mhm.
and Switch 2s were there, and that is the most anecdotal evidence. But there's some like stirring of, hey, are the Switch 2 sales slowing down a little bit there on the tail end? Now, that wasn't in any of the numbers when we talked to Matt Piscatella on the show 2 weeks ago. Was it? Yeah,
Yeah,
about 2 weeks ago. He pointed out that the Switch 2's sales are ahead of the PS4, which so it's the fastest ever so far, and
right.
it's way ahead of the Switch One. 75% ahead of where the Switch One was at. So, uh, according to the numbers, at least so far, those early adopters really showed up. But there is this second test that we keep talking about with Matt, where the holiday is going to come here, and that will be
Yep.
slightly more casual audience members. That will be families, and will they balk at these prices? I got to say, Rachel, my guess is, for the most part, no. I don't think they're going to balk at it. I think they are. I think
No.
they're going to show me like, yeah, man, shit, this is just what things cost now.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be how it is, but I do think that Nintendo, if this is really something that people can't afford and are not going to, you know, work into their increasingly strict budgets, then Nintendo will feel the effects of that. I mean, we might joke about it, but Nintendo isn't invulnerable. If it turns out that $70 is more than people are willing to pay for a Super Mario Galaxy collection, then, they will see that will be reflected in their sales. And if it isn't, then, what are we really complaining about here? Like, I don't like to say like, oh, the market is always right. It isn't, but at the same
Mm-mm.
time, if like 5 million people show up at launch day, 5 million, yeah. If 5 million people show up at launch day for to play Super Mario Galaxy 2 on the Switch 2, then I mean, that's just what people are willing to pay.
Yep. And yet I do think we do see that there's a little bit of a problem in the armor with Nintendo in terms
There is.
of the game key cards, because I
Yeah.
do think that those have mostly failed. I think that, and what more anecdotal evidence? I was at Meyer yesterday, saw those two Switch 2s on the shelf. I looked up at the game selection. Now, the game selection for the Switch at Meyer, which is like a local Midwest, kind of like a Walmart. Um,
Mhm.
the selection of games for the Switch 2 there was pretty robust. There was a lot of games and some Switch 1 games as well. And that's compared to the Xbox and the PlayStation 5, which each had like 3 to 5 games, and it was like Call of Duty and NCAA football and Doom and like 1 or 2 other things that are like for that very, very broad audience. Nintendo had like way more, but I only saw 1 game key card on the shelf at Meijer, and it was for Street Fighter 6. And I think that was a game key card. The rest were Switch 2 games that were first-party Nintendo games that weren't game key cards, and then a lot of Switch 1 games that had a lot of third-party stuff, but obviously none of those were game key cards. So
Right.
I think like there is areas where Nintendo is not getting away with everything it's trying to get away with, and they are going to have to adjust. It just doesn't feel like, for the most part, overall pricing has been that hurdle. We'll see if that changes this holiday.
Yeah, and I will say, like, for me, the big moment of like, oh, really, Nintendo, was the Virtual Boy shaped Switch dock for $100, which is only going to be able to play 14 games total.
Yep.
Like, to
Yeah.
me, that's the big thing of Nintendo being like, really? This is that's what you choose to do with the money, Nintendo? This is what, at $100 for the pleasure of playing games that I believe people said gave them headaches when they were originally launched?
It's
I didn't
it's
play the
bananas.
original Virtual Boy, but
No one did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the moment where I was like, I mean, honestly, it wasn't the Amiibo, it was the Virtual Boy, where I was like, really, Nintendo?
Yep. The Virtual Boy is just so insane. That one feels like them almost trolling everybody.
It
Where it's
does.
like, we are Nintendo.
The fact they
Yeah.
brought Koizumi-san out to market that, the man who could sell sand in the desert. Yes.
Uh-huh. It's I was just like, okay, I'll pay whatever. And of course they're like, yeah, you will. You're gonna pay whatever for this. That's $100, please. That thing's still not on sale in the United States, right? Everybody, tell me when it is.
I don't think so.
I need to prove that I am the true sucker and the biggest mark here. Square Enix confirms entire Final Fantasy VII trilogy will come to Switch 2. This is, not too surprising, but this just wanted to like get this out there that they did confirm that in addition to Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate coming to Switch 2 on January 22nd, I guess it's also coming to Xbox that day. Excuse me. They've said that, hey, the Remake trilogy going forward will also always be on Switch 2 and Xbox Series X and S and Xbox on PC, as well as the other platforms where it already was. So that means probably Rebirth not too long from now, and then the third game, again, we talked about this last time, your Reunion, whatever it's going to be called, that will probably launch on all of these platforms at the same time, would be my guess. It does feel like we are fully in the Square Enix being like, hey, our games just come out everywhere. We're done with the PlayStation exclusivity thing, and that's probably a good thing for them, right?
Yeah, probably. With as much retrenching as they've had to do in the last like 3 years or so, then yeah, I think cosseting themselves to the PlayStation, I think they've finally seen that, or at least most recently, they have not seen a huge return on that. So yeah, I mean, a device that's in that many people's hands, yeah, they want to get Final Fantasy on that because they need Final Fantasy VII Remake, Reunion, Rebirth, Recreation, whatever number 3 is going to be called. They need that in as many hands as possible.
And then just a quick update before we get out of the headlines. Balatro's biggest update yet is taking longer than expected. Basically, developer Local Thunk said that he's working slowly, but he also kind of wants to take his time because otherwise he would have to crunch to get it out this year. So he's made the decision just to delay till next year. And this is one of those ones where it's like, hey, the fans are like, yeah, please take it easy. We don't care. We want you to just take care of yourself. Thank you so much for this amazing game. And this is Balatro, Rachel, feels like a game that is going to be with us forever. It is.
God, I hope so.
Sudoku and crosswords now. It's just going to be there forever for everybody. So, pace yourself, Local Thunk. I think that's probably the right move here, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I see this all the time with fans whenever somebody announces a delay. I almost think sometimes we're too nice, which isn't something I usually say about gamers. But like whenever somebody announces that, the first like 20 or so replies are from other gamers being like, take your time, get it out to you, get it out to us when you can, king, queen, monarch, whoever. And just please just take your time. We'd rather it be late than be bad, or and also usually they say something like, I'd rather you take your time than crunch, which that's a good sentiment. But sometimes I'm like, you don't have to say that to the big corporations. Very
Yeah.
likely they're delaying it so that the game releases in a more favorable financial quarter, not necessarily because they care that the game needs to be perfect for you. But in Balatro's case, I absolutely believe that's what Local Thunk wants, is for the new update to be perfect and everything the fans want, and also they want to have a life and have a good work-life balance and good mental health. So
All right.
I think he is a good person to use that sentiment on.
Oh yeah, for sure. Kind of in there, and like Local Thunk apparently like really developed the game by just making a bunch of if-then statements. That has got to be so crazy to like get in there and make changes to all of that. I'm like, yeah, take your time. Don't kill yourself trying to figure that game out.
Yeah,
Uh,
please.
All right, that does it for the headlines. We do not have a poll question. We have the Bomb 12 from last Friday that we did. People should be able to find the link to the form for the new Bomb 12 this week on giantbomb.com. I posted a blog post about the last Bomb 12. In there at the bottom is that link to the new form. Go ahead and fill it out if you know what your game is for this week already. If you want to wait until Thursday, I'll close it sometime on Thursday evening. So until then, you have a chance to go in there and make your voice heard. We have a new poll question. We'll get to that in a second. Before we do, though, Rachel Kaser, why don't you tell people where they can find you on the internet, what you have going on, and all of that good stuff?
Well, I'm on PTO, so normally I would say, well, I'm going to say this anyway. You can find my written work at GamesBeat.com, and you should go check us out. We are also, like Giant Bomb, an independent games media publication, and we have a subscription service if anyone is interested in that. But to read the stories, you won't. It's free. 99% of the stories on GamesBeat are free. I know there's been some confusion about that, but you don't have to pay to read the vast majority. Like Jeff, you don't need to sign up to read your own articles. All you have to do
Okay.
is just enter your email. You don't need to pay anything.
I did figure this out. Now I'm reading my articles. Thank you very much.
But yeah, so I won't necessarily have anything new there this week, but I am regularly updating my TikTok where I talk about game releases, and that's on the GamesBeat TikTok. Man, I have so many TikToks, this is confusing. I talk about gaming news daily, and on my third channel I also talk about the Golden Girls and Dungeons and
Yeah.
Dragons and weird stuff like that. I even posted a clip from the show on my third TikTok account, where basically you are sitting there watching me talk about Golden Girls with this look on your face like, Jan, why did you bring this up? She's going to keep talking for the rest of the show.
I wouldn't have it any other way. What's the name of that TikTok? Where can people find it?
Oh, yeah, sorry. The TikTok is, well, we have the GamesBeat TikTok, which is just at GamesBeat, and we have my TikTok, which is at Grace of Athena, and then we have my other TikTok, which is at Rachel G. Kaser. So basically, if you just search the name Rachel Kaser on TikTok, you'll find my TikTok account and my secondary one probably. And if you search GamesBeat, you'll find GamesBeat on TikTok. And I'm also updating all of my other social media accounts regularly, and I'm getting back into my Tumblr, so I should be having out some new Perry Mason posts soon.
I have a similar TikTok to your Golden Girls one. It's all about MASH star Alan Alda. It's called Alda News That's Fit to Print. That's a
I'm gonna have to follow this because
that's an
niche
oh
things on
hello
TikTok.
joke. Yeah, that's a stolen joke. There you go, everybody. All right. We have a new poll question. What game do you want most from Insomniac after Wolverine? Venom, new Spider-Man, X-Men, or a new Ratchet and Clank? Those are your options. You can vote. We'll get the results. We'll talk about it on Game Mess Mornings here on Wednesday on Giant Bomb. Speaking of Giant Bomb, we're gonna do some like getting in the guts of the website today and our streaming setup. We're going to do a test. Let's see here. What time are we doing that, Jan? We're doing that at 2 p.m. We're doing some chunk testing. So hang out with us. I know, hey, you're like, oh, what happened to Riven? Well, we beat Riven. Why aren't you watching? What's your problem?
I saw.
Yeah.
I was so proud.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. It's good to just like kind of shout ideas at Mike and then force him to do it. Riven was a lot of fun. We're going to get back to Myst, but I think the plan is after this week, take some time for spooky season to play some spooky games in that slot. I think a seventh guest will be what we do next. And then,
a good one.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to it. I want to try the VR one. Apparently, that's pretty decent. Tonight, 8 p.m., Mega Man, Monday evening gaming at Mike's at night. That'll 8 p.m. Eastern. Show up for that. I don't know what he's playing, but we'll figure it out. And then Bombcast tomorrow. Tune in for that. We'll see y'all for that show with the regular crew. In the meantime, I think that's going to do it for us. Rachel, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me. I always love coming on. Everybody at
And-
Giant Bomb is always so nice. They're so
we try.
pleasant. Well, they're
That's what
nice
they
to
say.
me. Put it that
That's
way.
true. Yeah, that's right. No, thank you, Rachel. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. You are the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.